Are you ready?
I was born ready.
Yeah. Hey now, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 5 of the Stock Guy and AL3X Show, a brand new podcast. Well, it's not really brand new anymore. We're on episode 5. A podcast that covers topics around the world, business, news, markets, money, sports. If people are talking about it, then so are we. What's up, dude?
Man, just doing my thing. Just doing things. It's good to see you. Haven't seen you since what? Was it Friday?
Friday, I was hanging out. We were talking about coffee, some awesome coffee brand. We were talking about it, and some sort of co-branded product that you have. Which, hey, look what I got right here. Some sort of co-branded. This has got your face on it.
Yeah, that does have my
face on it.
That's a catfish picture. For those of you guys who are watching,
this is I don't know if you can see your face.
Catfish picture.
It's right there. If you guys want to see this in all of its glory, I'm sure you can find this on the internet somewhere.
This is not an ad. That's not why we were talking. We were talking about whole beans because we got grown-up coffee coming. No offense to the company that you're talking about, but the people who watch my show want grown-up coffee, and we are bringing those beans. Now we're not going to spill the beans. See what I did there? About what it's going to be, but I love my audience. They decided, hey, we've got the best name for it, so they can all. I was going to say they can all kiss my ass, but no, because they're actually going to be paying for it, and I get a small little piece of that pie each and every time. So who's laughing now? But good to see you, Alex. It's always good. By the way, I rated your friend at the end of my stream today with about 4,000 people. So she was pumped about that.
Which friend?
What do you mean, which friend?
You said my friend. D?
Donut girl.
D? BB? Yeah. Donut girl? Yeah. BB, you rated D? That's very, very kind of you. D's an amazing person and creator. So I'm sure she was very thankful.
It was. I saw her on my list, and I was like, you know what? Let me send all these people over there. I figured it would be brighten somebody's day. But that's not what we're here for. We're here to talk about what people are talking about. And
so
I'm
guys,
gonna be honest with you. Today's a heavy show. Alex.
Yeah, today's heavy, guys. We're kicking off the show with 2 topics that you wouldn't call them fun topics, but they're topical. They're going on in the world. Before we get to them, though, guys, the Stock Guy and AL3X Show can be watched, listened, and viewed on YouTube. It can also be downloaded and listened to wherever podcasts are downloaded. Follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and all the major socials for clips, moments, and information about new episodes. Yeah, guys, we have like a grab bag full of stuff here that we're going to talk about. We're gonna start the show off with things that are a little bit heavier. Stock, you want to just lead us right into it?
Yeah, I will. And real quick, before the same YouTube comment comes on every single video, it's not available on all podcasts. We're going to get to Apple. Okay, I just want to throw that out there, because every single video, there's one guy who goes, it's not on Apple yet. It's not on Apple yet.
It'll be on Apple. Don't worry about it. We'll get your Apple. It'll be there.
We'll get there.
It'll be there.
All right. With that being said, there's a lot of big topics. Obviously, we're going to get to the one that's dealing with today. But the first one, I feel like we have to talk about this because we are in the entertainment business. Now, it's kind of down our alley, and I think that it's something that we need to hit on. And I think it comes down to, I guess we could give our perspective on whose blame is it and everything. First thing, let's start off with, hearts go out to the families of everybody that was impacted. Obviously, we're going to be talking about Astroworld and Travis Scott and the incident that took place that we're still getting some fallout from. So I'm sure everyone here knows what happened, but just in case you don't, I'm just going to give you the TLDR. There was a large festival called Astroworld. Travis Scott was performing. There was a large, and I've actually, this led me down a rabbit hole. I actually started learning about fluid motion of human bodies in crowds and stuff like that. It's a wild thing to learn about. It's actually insane. But yeah, so there was a large crowd. There was pressure from the back that ended up liquid flowing to the front. People were trapped in. There was people that were underneath.
Liquid flowing to the front.
So human bodies are mostly water, right? If you look at a video of large crowds, you'll see, and there's some online, of where when it starts pushing in the back, that pressure pushes like a wave. It actually, you'll see everybody, the whole crowd move in a wave formation, just like you would if it was liquid, right? Like it's how the move goes.
Yeah.
And so that's what happened. And then it comes up to a point where there is an immovable object, which is the front or where there's a part of the crowd that's more, closely packed. And then that's when it collapses and people are underneath it and they can't move. Like people think that people die from trampling. They don't. They die from asphyxiation because there's just all this human bodies on top of them. It happened with the Pulse, or not the Pulse, but the nightclub that had the Great White, the fire. The same thing happened. Everybody tried getting out and they all put the pressure in the door and nobody could get out. So,
and this isn't the first time it's happened at a concert, right? This happened in like the 70s or 80s. I forget whose show it was, but I was reading about it. This is a similar event happened a few decades ago, basically to what happened in Astroworld. And for those of you that don't know about what happened down at Astroworld, this article right here, the CNN article, is updating us on the life of a little boy, a 9-year-old boy. But Travis Scott, the big festival, the CNN article talks about this 9-year-old boy who was injured at the Astroworld festival, who actually passed away this past Sunday, along with 10 other people. So was that the final death total was 10?
I believe it's there now, but there's some people that are still dealing with some severe injuries.
Yeah, this article says the death toll from the chaotic concerts now stands at 10. Funeral services for some of the victims began over the weekend as dozens of lawsuits have been filed over the tragedy. The boy, identified as Ezra Blunt by his family, had been in a medically induced coma in an attempt to overcome brain, liver, and kidney trauma, according to a statement. God, it's just the worst, bro.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that when oxygen's cut off to the brain, it's just insane what it does when it shuts down the body. But the real thing is the fallout from this is going to be, it's going to be in the news because it's going to be who is to blame, right? Was it Travis Scott for encouraging people to storm it and to to get rowdy? Was it the Live Nation for not having better, security in place? Was it the event coordinators by not having proper medical? Because we're seeing videos coming out of the people that were a medical personnel who didn't even know how to perform CPR and didn't know how to do this. We saw one video of cops like dropping somebody on their head. Like it was just a crap shit show all around. And the thing is that because Travis Scott has a history of not being very how do I put this very caring, at least appearing to be caring at these festivals, especially with the one where he'd crowd surfed. Do you remember that one where he was crowd surfing?
Yeah.
And some kid took his shoe and he grabbed his shoe back and then he told the crowd to beat up this kid and they were attacking him and he threw stuff and spit on him. So
I don't remember it in the sense that I remember when it happened, but these articles and all the aftermath, there's been obviously reference to that. So
yeah, I remember when it happened, and I didn't even know who he was at the time. And it's like you see that, it's kind of hard to feel bad for somebody when you see that, and then you see these videos coming out, and he's just standing there, and he's just like telling everybody to flip off the ambulance because it's interrupting his show, and then it's like whatever. Now, obviously, some of this is probably not showing the full story and whatnot. Maybe he was in shock, he didn't know what to do. People handle different situations differently, but based on the fallout and everything that came out, it just seems like he's more concerned with the fallout and the bad reputation and the money that he might lose than he was actually with what happened. I'm not trying to put words in the guy's mouth, but his response doesn't seem like somebody who really is affected by this.
Well, first and foremost, hearts, thoughts, prayers with all the families. This sucks. This is like the worst thing that could ever happen. You lose, you lose a son, you lose whoever it is in your family that you're losing. So, with that, before anything else before I say anything like opinionated or anything, like hearts and thoughts and prayers for everybody, and the families and the lives that were impacted here. But but I mean, what's the lesson in this? Stay abundantly safe right now, or I mean, is this just some sort of anomaly? Like it doesn't happen that often, or is this? Hey, how can anybody say, how can I now go to a festival and make sure that doesn't happen? I'm just not going to stand up front. What are the things to look for? Is that what's going to be is that what's going to come from this? Is people saying, hey, we need to tighten down our policy?
I would be an idiot if I sit here and said what's going to happen. I have no idea. I feel like this is going to be, people are going to pay out. There'll be a few, things done by Live Nation for future events, and then people will forget about it and we'll go back to normal. I hate to say that, but I've just seen incidents happen over and over and over again, and nothing ever really changes. I think they might maybe do these things where like they go through the crowd and kind of separate people up a little bit, or maybe they like more barricades to kind of like give that pressure off. I don't know. I really don't know. It's really hard to tell.
Bro, I got no interest in going to big concerts anymore. Like I got maybe some interest in every now and again, maybe like once a year, maybe going to like, you know, a small little venue that has maybe a couple hundred, or even just like a bar with like some tables and you're watching some live music, because live music's kind of cool. But like I think it might be a post-pandemic thing. I have no interest in going to one of these large festivals with thousands of people. Maybe it's my age. I'm 31 now. I don't know what it is, but I can tell you that even before this news, I can't imagine that I mean, I know there are people, but if I was just going to say how I'm feeling, I'm like, man, I can't believe the rest of the world's even interested in going to shows like this.
Maybe it's because I'm a vet, or maybe it's because of just my way I am. I don't do crowds. I don't like crowds. I don't like feeling like I'm trapped. That's just me. That's why like I one of the reasons I probably don't do a lot of shit illegal, at least that I know I'm going to get caught for, because I wouldn't do well in prison. I don't like the idea of being, you know, confined. And a big crowd like that freaks me the hell out, because I don't know who's doing what, where's what's going on, and I don't like the idea of being like trapped at any point. So when I do go to live music, the last live concert I went to was a Bon Jovi, like mock guy. He's like famous for doing like Bon Jovi stuff. And we went like to the top at the, you know, where we were away from people. Or if I go to a concert, maybe I'll go sit on the lawn, because I'm there to enjoy the experience. But I'm not a guy who likes doing that. Like I'm not a concert guy. That's just not who I am. So, you know, I wouldn't put myself in this situation. And like you said, with the world changing after COVID, we're going to see a lot of people not, you know, being around people in close proximity. But yeah, the situational awareness is tough, because you don't expect that when you go to a concert. You're going to have a good time. You don't think, oh, I got to think of the physics of people crushing me.
We need the metaverse to happen quicker than later, so we can just do virtual concerts, stay safe in our home. This was a rough topic. I'm going to hard transition us away from this one though, because we're going to go into another topic, which is also not an easy one to talk about. Stocky, you want to tee us up for this one?
Of hard to talk about. It depends on what aspect of it you're talking about. So real quick, today is the 16th of November 2021, and the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, which has been all over the news. The jury has the defense, the prosecution has rested. The jury is currently deliberating. They could come out with a verdict at any moment. We just got an update that they asked for more copies of the instructions, and they could come out with a verdict at any moment. So it depends on what aspect of this you're looking at. Is it a tough subject or not? Is it tough because you're talking about the fact that people's lives were lost? Of course. Are you talking about the fact of the facts of the case? Like, the thing is that the internet has become lawyers all of a sudden. Like, everybody on the internet is a lawyer all of a sudden, and it's either it's so polarizing that it's either this guy is a stone cold murderer or he's a hero. And it's like, no, neither of those is correct. Neither of those is correct. And everyone's got an opinion. And there's so much false information going out there and stuff like that. So the idea is if we're just focusing on the trial or not, and I think that's the most interesting point of it. First of all, the prosecutor in this, I don't know if you've watched the trial, but the prosecutor in this trial has been the best defense attorney he could have asked for. I mean, the prosecutor has fumbled this entirely. So if you're on the side where you think he should be put away, whether it's for weapons charges or for murder or for negligent homicide, whatever, you're scratching your head the whole time. Because if I was in that camp, I would be looking at this and be like, wow, this is the worst guy that could possibly, be put out there. If you're on the other side, you're looking at this case and you're saying, it seems like this has been doomed from the beginning. The judge is in his corner. They're doing all this. And I personally am looking at it from the idea of the facts of the case, right? Like, not what led up to it, not what he did to put himself in the situation, but based on the situation he was in, what happened, and the evidence that has been provided, not what the news told me or edited clips, but what I have been seen from the trial and the evidence submitted. I think it's a clear-cut case of self-defense. I do. That's not and that's not for me to decide. It's not for you to decide. It's not for the internet to decide. That is for the jury of 12 people to decide based on the evidence.
That's the thing that you're talking about. That's like the most important thing. In if anyone's gonna like opine on social media, like, realize that there's a jury for a reason. Like, our legal process has decided that this was the way. And that's not saying that everything in this world is perfect, but I can tell you what's for damn sure is we're not going to go from a jury, a dozen people to, Twitter poll. We're not going to go from we're not ever going to live in that world. So I mean, I listen, it's, you know, freedom of speech. People can say whatever they want on the internet, and they do. So it's like, if you're going to be on Twitter, I'm not going to sit here and say, hey man, can the Twitter mob stop, or can people, you know, can the court of public opinion just stop? It'll never stop. So just know what you're getting involved in if you're on Twitter. Like, if you don't want to read people's wild opinions, then just don't get on Twitter, because
that's the thing. This trial is not. This trial is not about, was he stupid? Did he put himself in a bad situation? That's not what he's on trial for. So I'm looking at it, what he's on trial for. And so I look at that, and that's what these trials are for. They are to provide evidence of a crime or refute that evidence of a crime. And was that crime committed? Not, was he stupid and should he have done that? No, he shouldn't have gone there. He didn't need to, and whatever. But that is not what he's on trial for. And there was all this misinformation of like, oh, he took a gun across state lines. I heard that forever. I almost believed it until I watched the trial and found out he did not. And then everybody was like, oh, well, he killed this one guy. And then I saw the trial, and literally the guy he shot, the prosecutor himself, the prosecutor's witness was on the stand, and the prosecutor goes to the witness and says, is it true that that he did not shoot at you until you ran up on him and drew the weapon? And he's like, yeah. The prosecutor literally got their own witness to say, yeah, this guy did not shoot me in cold blood. He did not shoot me until I pointed a gun at him. So, like, that's why I was saying it's insane. Well, regardless of whatever, we'll see what the outcome is. I'm more concerned of the fallout of this. I could see this turning into another tinderbox.
So, real quick, because I'm going to backtrack here, guys. This CNN article is kind of laying all this out for us right here. It says, closing arguments conclude in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. Final. No, that was the previous article. The 12 jurors who will deliberate the case and reach a verdict in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial have been selected. No, that's a previous story. This isn't even a story. This is just an update that says closing arguments. Yeah, closing arguments conclude in Kyle Rittenhouse trial. Okay, cool. Like, literally, this is all unfolding like in this moment. So if you guys hear, it's
literally unfolding in this moment. So by the time people listen to this, we might actually have a verdict, and that's what's crazy about me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, these are the facts of the case, because no matter how I approach this, from what angle, it's going to cause. I'm sure I can't wait to see the comments on this video.
When was this? When was this? This was last year at this time.
This was last year during the riot. Well, the protests, and then the evening.
It was like, what was it, like October of last year, or was it earlier than that?
I thought it was in the summer. I can't remember. Maybe it was October. I don't remember. So you know, though, basically what we've gotten, TLDR, what we've gotten from this case is that he lived about 20 miles away, which happened to be across the state, but he did work in that town. He went, based on the evidence, I'm not going to say what the opinion was, like, oh, he was just trying to help. No, that's not what I'm saying. Evidence of it is that he lived away. His mother dropped him off there. Another individual gave him a gun. He was there to, quote unquote, protect property. We do know that there's people on video that got him saying, like, anybody need medical help, whatever. He was at a protest that did have violence. There's some conflicting stories of whether he was like getting graffiti off and ended up saving a gas station because he put out a fire, whatever. I don't know. That's all kind of like, you know, part of the thing. But there was an individual who had a very seedy past, but I'm not going to bring that up because the guy's past has nothing to do with what happened at the time. But the guy ended up, was unstable and chased after him, grabbed the gun. He shot him, and then after that happened, the crowd started, going. Another guy came at him and hit him across the head with a skateboard. He shot that individual. Then he was on the ground, and then another guy came up and had his hands up, and then a gun came down. He shot him, and then he went to the police. That's kind of what we have. Now, there's a lot of intricacies there, and there's a lot of other things. That is what the jury is going to deliberate.
That's the whole thing, is that there's
nuance.
But
I feel like the story has been, should he have been there or not? Like, I feel like that's what everyone's focusing on, and everyone has a right to do so. And in a civil trial, that will be something that comes up. But in a criminal trial, him being there was not illegal. So I think that's why people are starting to get caught up on the debate. I think people are debating the wrong part of this.
That's what happens
incident.
when you say people are debating this. What you're saying is people are tweeting at people about this. Like, someone tweets, and then someone responds to that tweet, and then someone else reads the response, and they get upset, and they respond to that, and then all of a sudden, all this just starts compounding, and you have a really serious criminal trial like this, where people on Twitter think that they're solving it in 140 characters. You know what I mean? And like, they become so hostile towards one another. And listen, there's a lot of play here. There's a tremendous amount of play in this trial. not even just from a legal perspective, but from like a social perspective, right? I mean, because this was all happening during like the protests of that we experienced in the summer of 2020. So there's a lot happening here. There's a lot of intricacies here, and everyone should probably pay attention, to the outcome. But I mean, God, I just would hope that people could just like, trust, that your fellow man on Twitter, your fellow woman on Twitter isn't like just out, to get you, or just out to.
You can't do that. And you know what's funny is I told you in a previous podcast, now that I'm older and I've been around the world and all this stuff's happened, I kind of try to look at everyone's opinions and try to see where they're coming from. I could literally in less than 30 seconds make an argument for both sides right now and see exactly where they're coming from and understand it. I can get the people that are on the side of he's a hero, which I disagree with, but I could see them. Hey, listen, regardless of what put him in that situation, he had a right to be there. He wasn't illegal. What he was doing, holding the gun, was not illegal. Whatever. People attacked him, and whether he provoked them or not, his life was in danger. He shot them, clear-cut self-defense, right? I get that. There's a lot to it. I think there's a little gray area there, but I totally understand it. And the other side, what was this kid doing? Why did this kid decide that he needed to go across state lines to a town that he worked in, that he didn't live in, get a gun and go try and be a LARPer and try to be, a hero and try to like whatever. And he put himself in a situation that he knew was already a tinderbox and only became an agitator. And so he brought this on himself, and he shouldn't have shot anybody because he never should have been there. So clearly, this guy, because of that, he's a murderer. Boom, there you go. That's where both people are coming from, and I can see both arguments, but that's not what the trial's about. The trial is about the facts of the case, and that's what we're going to find out if the jury sees this. So
also, there was this image. I'm going to pull this up because this was on social media. There was this image. People kind of made a big deal about it, like the reaction he had, right? Because he was like crying, but some people said he was fake crying and all this kind of stuff. I have this pulled up on the screen, which you can't see right now. But it's the image of...
This one's tough for me because we'll never know what was going through his head and if this was, an act or if it was real. But one thing I can say is, and this is somebody who's a veteran who's been overseas and been in combat and seen a lot of other combat vets, there's often times when you're reliving a traumatic event through post-traumatic stress that you don't, it blocked your brain, protects you and blocks the back of your head. So through, after the incident happens, you can go a long time and it doesn't even affect you. You don't think about it. You can joke about it. Sometimes I see it in the military all the time. And then when you relive it and it comes back, it just overwhelms you and all those emotions just dump on you. And so I don't know if this guy was doing this on the stand and was coached to do it, or he was literally having a PTSD, like traumatic reliving of it, and was just like his body was just going through that adrenaline, that fear all over again. Because I'll tell you something right now. You don't shoot 3 people as a 17-year-old, take the lives of people, and it doesn't affect you in some way, right? Like, I mean, whether you should have been there or not, you don't just do that and it doesn't affect you. So I don't know where it is, but I'm not 100% on board with he was faking it. He might have been, but I think that there's a possibility that this was a traumatic reliving of an experience that his body just didn't know how to handle.
Well, I saw LeBron tweet about it. Like LeBron,
shut up, LeBron. Shut the fuck up.
He tweeted about it and was upset that he called it. He said it was fake. Like, whatever. People are going to say what they want to on Twitter. It's their opinions, right? LeBron's entitled to that opinion, right? Like
he's entitled to it, but it makes him look stupid because even if he's right, there's no way to prove it. Number one, and number two, it's like why inject yourself into something and take a very bold stance like that to try and I get that you may not like the guy, you may not agree with him, you may think that he was a dumb kid. I get all that, and you have the freedom of speech, but like you using that power to like blame, stroke those fires. Because here's the thing, what I'm going to say, and I'm not putting the responsibility on LeBron. He has the right to do this at all. But if this is a tinderbox and he's acquitted and there is already a lot of divisiveness and a lot of emotions, something like that just feeds to the fire that could lead to more protests, that could lead to more property damage, which could lead to another fucking incident. So I'm not putting that on him in any way. I'm just saying you as a figure that big, knowing you have a lot of impact on people, should probably not antagonize the situation that way.
He definitely antagonized the situation. He's definitely got his opinion, which he's entitled to, and you got to love that about our world. You can have whatever opinion you want. You can share it. It's a very, very awesome world to live in.
Didn't he do this with that officer involved shooting where he was like, he started like talking about that, and it turned out later on that the girl had a knife and was trying to stab somebody, and the police officer saved their lives. And but before the stuff came out, LeBron was like,
he was all
see,
about
this is another unarmed girl being, a girl of color being murdered or whatever like that. Like, and then he deleted it or something.
Yeah, LeBron gets really, really chatty around all of the all these social issues, which again, he has the right to, and I love that he has the right to. I
respect the opinion. I just think you have to understand
he just gets chatty. He definitely
and I think you have to understand your influence. You have to understand your influence on people.
He made it known, or not he. Someone said to him at one point in time, "Shut up and dribble" or something like that. Someone said to him, and
yeah, I think that's in bad taste too.
That's
like
an awful thing
the
to
guy
say.
is absolutely right to have an opinion, and he has it. I'm not gonna cancel, or I think cancel culture is the dumbest thing ever. But I'm not gonna try and cancel someone because they have an opinion, if it's whether it's a good opinion or dumb.
I don't want anybody to shut up. I love hearing one of the best parts about this world is diversity of thought, right? Like it is like you get a community of people together, and a lot of people that view the world differently can actually find some middle ground. So whatever. Like, I don't want anybody to shut up. I'd love to hear everybody's thoughts and opinions. However, I think the whole kind of idea behind most of this is to not jump the gun and try your best to give people the benefit of the doubt when you can, and don't just be out to get people and antagonize. I think that was the word you said. That's like probably the best way to say it. Don't antagonize the situation.
And that's the thing. Like I say, have your opinion, but also, in my opinion, is you have the right to say it. And if it's a stupid opinion or a dumb opinion or a good opinion, or it makes you look bad, whatever, it's on you. I'm not going to try and shut you down or shut you up. You have every right to do it. But you also have to understand that I feel like when you're that big of an influencer, when you interject yourself into something that's this hot button of a topic and this divisive, and you do it in a very antagonizing and very, very, I don't know how to put it. Like I said, fanning the flames kind of way. I feel like if something bad happens, you don't share the responsibility of it, but you got to think to yourself, wait a second, this was already a tinderbox. Did I just light a match? And so you have to live with that. Maybe they sleep just fine. Maybe they don't. I don't know. It's none of my business.
He tweeted out, "What tears? I didn't see one. Get off. That kid ate some lemon heads before he went into court." I mean, we probably don't want people antagonizing others like that. Like, that's probably not in best taste.
Now, my question is, let's play devil's advocate for a second. What if it really is that kid having a massive PTSD breakdown on the stand, and a massive celebrity like that is making fun of him?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty heartless, right?
Yeah, like I feel like having that opinion is one thing, but I'm not saying that that's the case. I'm just trying to play both sides of the aisle here, and that's imagine if somebody was up there and had a seizure, and somebody's like, maybe he was just cold. That didn't look like no seizure to me. You know what I mean? Like at what point is it bad taste? But hey, listen, it's his account. He can do what he wants. He's worth so much.
He can do whatever he wants,
and ain't gonna hurt him.
And I love people, like to speak. I never want, and like the idea, someone said, I forget who it was, someone said to LeBron, "Shut up and dribble." I think that's so wrong. I love to hear more from all, the people that are like, they
have a right to say that too. Like it's once again, same thing. It's stupid and it's in bad taste. But I guess technically, if you're gonna play, LeBron has a right to say something. That person has the right to say something. That person does have
the right to say it. Like, and so that's the thing. It's like, we can put rights aside for a second. Let's just talk about what's probably best for the world, right? It's just to not be hostile to one another. But we know that. I mean, that's just common sense. But you're not going to find that on Twitter.
That's not what gets clicks. That's not what gets views. We need divisiveness. We need people talking about you. When people stop talking about you, you no longer exist.
So
wow, that was deep as shit.
We're getting way too deep. Let's go back to just athletes doing stuff in the news that's worth talking about.
I think it's stupid shit. I mean, go for it. We're already in Minnesota. We're already talking athletes. We're already talking about Wisconsin. Stupid comments. Why don't you lead us into this one, since this is more your wheelhouse?
We're in Wisconsin, not Minnesota, right?
Oh, whatever. Yeah.
Minnesota. We're in Wisconsin. So guys, we're gonna go a little further north up.
You're both fucking South Canada.
We're gonna go up north. Aaron Rodgers has been in the news. For those that are in and around the sports world, if you guys pay attention to the sports news cycle, Aaron Rodgers has been making a lot of news lately. It's kind of over now. We kind of just wrapped up this episode because he played on Sunday and he played great. He was apparently asymptomatic. However, the news, if you guys missed it, was Aaron Rodgers tested positive for COVID. in a situation where everybody, I think, assumed he was vaccinated because he kind of said he was vaccinated without saying he was vaccinated. He kind of intentionally misled people. And so it turns out he was not vaccinated. He got himself COVID. He was asymptomatic. So fortunate for Aaron Rodgers, he did a quarantine and now he's not dealing with all the ailments, the muscle aches, whatever else. But I mean, the crux of the issue was that he went and I think he got like a hippie vax, right? Didn't he go and get like some sort of natural remedy and like that was his way of saying, hey, I'm vaccinated. It wasn't a Pfizer. It wasn't a Moderna. It wasn't any. All right. Go ahead. Is this tinfoil?
We're about to. I got it ready.
Guys, let me hold on. Before Stocky puts that on, I'm going to prime the article. It says scientists react to Aaron Rodgers' comments on COVID-19 vaccine and treatments. If only scientists had the influence of a popular professional football quarterback. Scientists have worked hard to develop vaccine eggs. What is that word? VACCINEGS. What is that word?
What was it? Vax? What?
Is that a typo? VACCINEGS. Why does this article say that word? You ever heard
they're trying to say vaccines and they just typoed.
That's a typo. Yeah, that's 100% a typo. Okay, scientists are. I'm not that smart. If you put it down here, it's like a teleprompter. It's like It's like Ron Burgundy. You're just gonna read it. It's like a prompt. It's like a prompter.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
Scientists have worked hard to develop vaccines to end the COVID-19 pandemic, building on decades of vaccine knowledge and developments. And then and some of them like Fauci, director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, speak to the public almost daily about the safety and efficacy of the available vaccines. And then there are people like Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers, who recently tested positive for the virus and told a radio show host he is not vaccinated after saying in August that he is immunized. He also repeated a number of misconceptions and misinformation about how to deal with an infection. Rodgers is not just any football player. Last year, he was named the NFL's MVP for the third time. He's also hosted Jeopardy. He also has a very, very...
He's big. Okay,
he has a book club. People like to be a part of his book club. He reads books and people, his fans on the internet read books with him. He's a very heady guy. He's a very smart guy. You'd think he would know the difference between a vaccine and a hippie vax, but I don't really know what he took.
So... basically what we got from the whole thing is that he talked to his buddy Joe Rogan. Now, Joe Rogan has made the news for his own personal treatments and everything like that he used, including what people are like calling the horse pills and everything like that. And IV drips with vitamins, and he actually recovered very quickly. So there was a lot of people that were like, oh, well, obviously it works. Now I'm not going to play this game. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. And so Aaron Rodgers was like, no, I didn't get the vaccine, but I took all this other stuff and I'm fine now. Right. And so I talked to my buddy, and I got in medicine or whatever the hell it's called. And so, that's kind of where it was. And everybody was making fun of him. You're not a doctor. You're a football player. Shut up and throw the ball. You're a bad example and stuff like that. I understand, though, the NFL has rules, and if you want to play, you have to follow the rules. Now, obviously, there's a conversation about, well, they're under contract. That wasn't part of the contract, but there is some verbiage about, like, they have to, meet certain guidelines and stuff like that. But can I be tinfoil hat for a second?
Put it on.
Okay. This led me down a rabbit hole. Now, I am not saying that any of this is true. This is why the tinfoil hat's on. But this led me down a rabbit hole of this medication. Now, this medication that the news and everybody's making fun of Joe Rogan for, calling it the horse pills, there is two versions of it. There is the horse version. There is a human version of it. And the human version actually helps stop the spread of viruses, helps mitigate that, helps, a lot of that, right? And so I was thinking to myself, I was like, oh, that's interesting. So there is a difference between the two, but everybody's loving the joke of it's a horse dewormer, right? It's a horse dewormer. But that's not the case entirely. So that led me down a rabbit hole. And I said to myself, and I started listening to other people, and I started looking at this, and down this tinfoil hat rabbit hole, I found something very interesting that I did not know before. You know how Pfizer got the emergency use authorization?
How?
They got the emergency use authorization for the vaccine.
Oh, I thought you were saying do you know how they did it?
So for those who don't know, an emergency use authorization is the FDA telling somebody or a company, hey, we haven't fully tested this. We don't know. We haven't gone through all the trials, but the benefit could potentially outweigh any harm because there's a global pandemic. There's a problem. So we're just going to push this through without doing all the proper testing, right? So that's what a emergency use authorization is. You get the emergency use. So Pfizer gets that, Moderna gets that. They're already announcing they're going to make $62 billion next year off of this vaccine, right? So I was noticing this, and now there's already, for those who don't know, the former head of the FDA is now on the board of Pfizer. Just so you guys are aware, this is not a conspiracy. That's true. So little bit of interesting tidbit there. Now, here's what I found out going down the rabbit hole. Did you know that emergency use authorization cannot be granted if there is a treatment?
No, I had no idea.
If there is a treatment for something, then a vaccine cannot be pushed through an emergency use authorization. So, tinfoil hat, what if this medication, right, actually was or has been, I'm not saying it is, but let's say it does do a treatment. It is a form of treatment. It does help get rid of the symptoms and help you overcome it. But Pfizer, who also, by the way, is one of the largest donors and advertisers on mainstream media, ran a campaign to make everyone who did it look like they're dumb hillbillies who take horse dewormer, because that way they can get the emergency use authorization to make $62 billion. But that's not where it ends. Hear this one out. 1 year after they get the emergency use authorization, Merck comes out with the first pill that is designed and is a treatment, right? So now all of a sudden there is a treatment. Wait a second. 2 weeks later, Pfizer announces they also have a pill that's even more effective. That's a treatment.
So you think they just had it in their back pocket for when they needed it?
As far as
needed it in the market to compete with whoever else was coming out with it.
If they did have it or were developing it, they weren't going to tell anybody because they just made $62 billion off of a vaccine that got an emergency use authorization, which they couldn't do if there was a treatment out there. Potentially, let's say this thing or something else was a treatment. They're going to do all this money that they donate to all these news organizations, say, hey, you want our $100 million that we give you? We don't want, you better make fun of all these people. And then, hold on, then they make all these billions of dollars. And then when somebody else comes out with the treatment, all of a sudden, oh yeah, we have the treatment too. We couldn't announce it before because we had to get the vaccine. But now we have vaccine and a treatment. Boom.
So it wasn't a hippie vax. I mislabeled it. It sounds like Aaron Rodgers, especially considering he was asymptomatic. He didn't have any symptoms. Maybe he got treated. Maybe it worked. Because he didn't have any symptoms. I'm not saying
it did, and I'm not trying to go down. I know somebody's in the comments going to be like, oh, Stocky's one of them Joe Rogan, Trump, and, anti-government, anti-vaccine. I got both my vaccines. I'm there. I'm just saying that, we saw Joe Rogan get over it very quickly. Aaron Rodgers got over it. The people who took this, I'm just saying, tinfoil hat, if I was putting on a tinfoil hat, which I literally am right now, for those who can't watch it.
If you're just listening,
that's some pretty crazy things that kind of tie in. So I'm going to take this off now. And
well, it's also, so Aaron Rodgers comes out and says, that he spent a weekend compiling a bunch of information, Aaron Rodgers apparently gave a 500-page document to the NFL. Apparently he submitted about a 500-page, sort of comprehensive analysis that he compiled from a lot of different sources. And I'm sure he's getting it from friends and, doctors of friends and that kind of stuff. Either way, the man compiled 500 pages and gave it to the NFL, okay, over a weekend. This guy dedicated an entire weekend to trying to learn this, okay?
He didn't dedicate it. He probably got it from other people. Joe Rogan probably had it from somebody who sent it to him, and he just copied it.
He said he spent a weekend and he learned it. He spent a weekend.
You don't spend a weekend and learn 500 pages worth of medical shit.
Well, listen, he references Joe Rogan, right? Joe Rogan is an expert in podcasting, and he's an expert in mixed martial arts. I don't know if he's an expert in immunizations or treatments.
I don't think he is either. He even says, and I don't listen to Joe Rogan on a regular basis in any way, but he even says, I'm just an idiot. But once again, hey, this ties into the LeBron thing, right? And this is why I love these conversations. everybody who's defending LeBron James, saying, "Oh, he has a right to say what he wants, even though he's not a defense lawyer or whatever," are the same people who shit on Joe Rogan and say he's a comedian, he should shut the fuck up about science.
See, there is no stay in your lane. We're just all on this planet together. I don't like the idea.
Yeah, but then when you say that, they're gonna be like, "Well, it's different when somebody talks about a kid crying versus this guy having all of this influence and potentially putting people's lives at risk." Hey, what if LeBron James' comment caused more polarization, and that ends up leading to more chances of rioting and protesting, which leads to death? I mean, we could play this game all day long. I'm not defending either one of them.
So another element to the Aaron Rodgers thing is that he kind of lied to people. He kind of misled them.
Yeah.
He kind of said some stuff. He really kind of manipulated.
I'm not defending the guy at all. I just thought that was a fun little tinfoil hat thing.
Yeah, of course. But so this article says Rodgers spoke on the radio show again last week, and he said that he took, quote unquote, full responsibility for anybody who felt misled by his comments. Notice how that's not, I will take full responsibility for misleading people with my comments.
When's the last time you heard somebody take full responsibility for anything in the media?
This is like nothing. He says, I take full responsibility for anybody who felt misled. Wait, hold on. You're taking responsibility for the people, for the person, or are you taking responsibility for misleading them? Because I don't really know.
It doesn't matter. Let me tell you something. That's the perfect answer for him, and I'm going to tell you why. When you are that well known and you have that kind of whatever, the people who love you will always love you, and the people who hate you will always hate you. You're not going to swing either one. The moment that you go out on a full apology tour and crocodile tears and talk about that, the people who hate you are not going to start loving you, but the people who love you will no longer love you because they think that you're not who you are true to yourself. So the best thing you can do to keep where you are is to just say, hey, listen, my bad if anybody felt misled. Not my intention. That right there is the best thing you can do as a celebrity, because the only people that you can possibly sway are the people who already love you, and they're going to love you no matter what. But the moment they feel that you sold out or gave up or went pussy on them, they leave you. So you might as well toe the line.
The best thing you can do if you're Aaron Rodgers right now is go out there, win some damn football games, and get the Packers the 1 seed and get them to the Super Bowl, because I got a futures bet.
Oh, you hated the Packers.
I'm a Bears
Aren't you
fan,
a Bears fan?
but I'm a DGen first, and I got a nice, beautiful little futures bet on the Packers to be in the Super Bowl against the Bills. Okay, so go ahead, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, my 350 to 1 bet on the Jaguars making the playoffs is gone.
Go ahead, Aaron Rodgers. Go ahead and keep playing great football. Go ahead and they beat the Seahawks 17-0. Your Jags look pretty good, by the way. Better than we thought. Who did they give a run for their money last weekend? Was that the Colts?
Yeah, they really were doing it. If it wasn't for that sack at the end, they might have won.
So, listen, the Aaron Rodgers thing is, it is what it is.
It's rich people and rich people things. That's all it is. It's the only reason anybody cares about him. He's rich. He's in the social media, and social media loves to shit on and idolize rich people. And sometimes rich people do dumb stuff, and people still cheer them on because they have fans. And you know who's not, immune to that, and if anything, only empowered by that?
Elon Musk.
Elon freaking Musk. We talked about him on a different podcast about why now. A lot. Well, I mean, he's good at making himself relevant. I mean, we talked about him last time about how everybody hated rich people until Elon became the richest guy by far. And now everybody loves him.
So Elon's like, there's a pocket of people that love Elon. There's a pocket of people that hate Elon. Elon is undoubtedly, though, like if you love him or hate him, undoubtedly it is the single most powerful Twitter account in this world. That Twitter account can move markets in ways that no other Twitter account can. You could make the argument that says Donald Trump, when he was president, was obviously the most powerful because he was doing a lot of geopolitical stuff. Really disrupt.
That man could start a war with a tweet.
Exactly,
so.
And he did. I mean, he would really rise tensions with a tweet. This is business. We're moving markets with tweets with Musk. So, and I think Trump's account is still offline. So technically, Elon Musk is undoubtedly the most powerful Twitter account as far as moving markets. Elon Musk sells another $931 million of Tesla stock. Tesla CEO Elon Musk's sales of his company's stock continued Monday. His latest filing promises more are coming. Musk sold another $931 million worth of stock on Monday, bringing his total sales of stock during the last 6 trading days to $7.8 billion. So he just gets $7.8 billion in cash just because he's he's doing these Twitter games, running these Twitter polls. Obviously, Stocky has a lot more to say about those. I don't even think it's tinfoil hat stuff. He has sold some shares each of those days. Monday's Tesla stock sales are part of a plan he established 2 months ago to exercise an even larger block of stock options before they expire next August. Company insiders such as CEOs are allowed to establish a stock selling plan so the sales take place automatically without being affected by non-public information they may have about the company.
This is the dumbest thing that I've ever seen. This man goes on Twitter. So there's been remember how we talked about how everyone hates the rich guy and everyone wants to tax the rich and everything like that. And then because Bezos was the evil guy. And then when Musk becomes the richest guy in the world, it's like, oh, it's cool because he's cool. He's one of me. We're all friends. So I don't mind it so much.
It's the Zuckerberg versus Musk thing. We talked about this last time. People hate Zuckerberg. He's a rich guy. You know?
Yeah, but it was Bezos was the richest guy in the world, and now Musk is. So
Musk.
We talked about how he's making it cool now to be the richest guy in the world instead of like this guy's evil. And we talked about how it's going to be harder to pass laws about this. So he's smart. He's not dumb. But this is what I'm going to say. This is what the outside looked like. Everyone's talking about we need to tax them more, tax their unrealized gains because these guys don't pay them. They pay themselves an $80,000 a year salary. Their company grows, they're worth billions of dollars, but they don't have the cash. And because they don't sell their stock, they can't get taxed, right? So it's a tax haven. So he knows that he can play this to a tune. He can be the hero again. How is he going to be the hero? Well, let's take a little trip back in time. A few months ago, he discloses to the SEC, hey, I have all of these stock options, right? These stock options, which basically say, hey, you have the right if the stock is to a certain level to buy it at a lower level at a future date, right? So Tesla stock starts running and going up 1,000%. It's going insane. So what happens is he needs to pay for these stocks at a cheaper rate than what they are, but he doesn't have money, right? So how does a billionaire get money? He sells his stock. That's how you get money. You either take a loan against it or you sell your stock. So he decided, I've got to pay all of this money, including the taxes that I'm going to have to do to sell this and to buy other shares at cheaper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend like I'm cool and I'm one of the people. So I'm going to go on Twitter and put a poll. Hey, do you guys think I should sell? Oh, I keep hearing all this stuff about not getting taxed enough. You know what? I'm going to take the leap here. Everybody says, well, whatever. I'm going to be the billionaire who makes a statement and is the first to do this. So if you guys tell me and vote for it, I'll sell $10 billion worth of my stock, which I'm going to get taxed on. And so, of course, everybody says, yeah, people that want to see him, get taxed and people who just want to see the world burn, right? And so it goes there and he goes, okay, you guys told me, I'm going to do it. Now, everyone thinks that, hey, look at us. We made this change and this billionaire is one of us and he wants to pay his fair share and all that. But nobody knows that this was already planned 2 months ago. He already filed because you can't just sell that much or else you'll doom the company. People already knew about it. The SEC already knew about it. He's selling all this stock. And you know what he's going to do? He's going to take the capital and buy even more shares at cheaper and make even more money than what he's selling off and paying taxes.
So, guys, this says the sales follow a Twitter poll he conducted on November 6th and 7th. This is what stock he's talking about, in which he asked followers if he should sell 10% of his stake in the company. He's put up a Twitter poll. He said, should I do this? Also, Bernie Sanders got involved in the conversation. There were some other politicians that got involved. Elon Musk made himself look like the real cool guy. He was talking about he made some comments back to Bernie.
Forget you're still alive.
Yeah, he made some comments back to Bernie, which I don't know why he had to say that. Why you got to come at Bernie Sanders like that? Bernie ever.
Bernie puts himself out there. If you're gonna put yourself out there, you got to take the blowback. It happens to me all the time.
But also, Elon likes to tweet like 69 and 420, and like he said,
Elon's a troll. And you know what? If this man wasn't the richest guy in the world, nobody would pay attention to him. But he's rich and he's awkward and he's made a career out of convincing people that he's one of them. And he's done a brilliant job of it. I'm not a fan of the guy. Like, I'm not Elon Musk cuckboy in any way, but I see the appeal. And he has an amazing ability.
He went on Rogan and smoked that blunt.
Well, that was his moment. That was his moment.
That was a huge one. It says, guys, but the sales on Monday were driven more by the need to exercise stock options he holds before they expire next August, coupled with the requirement that he pay taxes on those shares once he does sell. This is exactly what Stocky is talking about. Either way, Elon Musk in the news, making billions of dollars. What else is new? Elon Musk is just a billionaire and he's just going to keep making billions. So everyone's just going to keep following his Twitter account and liking the 69 420 tweets that he puts out.
His space company's not even public yet.
Yeah, I mean, his space company is still private. And
I mean, just imagine how much money he's going to have when that thing goes public.
what do we know about? By the way, real quick, because I want to stay on space company. Have we heard anything about the Boring Company in a while? Isn't he going to build tunnels underneath LA? Like, that was supposed to be his next thing, right?
He's not going to do that. I mean, listen, if you want to install a fence in your backyard in California, you have to go through like a million pieces of red tape and all these permits and all this governmental waste. There's no way. I think he did that just to sound relevant. He's going to do it in Texas, though. I mean, that's where he's going to do it.
Stick to space, Elon. That's where the future is. It's obviously where.
But hey, Elon, you're all about making money. Maybe you should stop spending so much money on rocket fuel and check out this little small company that we were looking at.
Elon, start spinning stuff into space. Just spin things like a top into space, guys. There's a company called SPINLAUNCH. This isn't even an article. This is just the website, guys. It says this is an intro to SPINLAUNCH. Stocky, what do you know about this company? This is rockets that go to space by just spinning really fast, bro.
I mean, this is so cool, but I just see it going so bad. Like, have you ever seen like a hamster on a wheel and then all of a sudden like they lose their footing and they just go and they get shot out? That's basically what this is. So this is basically using centrifugal motion, right? Like it's the idea of, instead of spinning, because the most expensive part of sending something into space is launching it from the ground into the atmosphere, right? You need all of those rockets, all those
energy,
boosters, all that jet fuel. That's the most expensive. That's like 3/4 of the price, right? That's where all the money is. So what they've developed, and there's a video if we want to link it down below to watch it. It's awesome.
It's actually playing It's playing right now.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
So basically what it is they put the satellite or the capsule in this giant spinning contraption, and it spins so fast that it gets all of that kinetic energy, and it lets it go like a shot put, and it shoots it from the planet from ground level into orbit. So I mean, this is insanely cool. I don't think you're not gonna be able to put humans there, obviously, but I think this is super cool. The only thing is that like I'm wondering what happens if like you like, you know, like when the shot put guy does it and he goes and he misses by like 1/4 of an inch and it just flies off and breaks a car or something like that. Like I'm imagining this happening, but like somebody just like, there's like a little pebble or a bird hits it and it just shoots off and like lands in some city or something. Like I don't know how this is gonna play out, but it's so cool. Like the concept is so cool. I don't know if this is a money grab or a PR stunt or they really think this is going to happen, but the idea that you could spin something so fast so you could throw it into space, I think it's awesome.
It's no doubt somewhere in between really cool tech that might be innovative for the future and straight up investor scam. It's no doubt somewhere in between the two. Just trying to pull some cash together, get people excited about some new tech. SPINLAUNCH is what it's called. They're going to spin stuff and send it to space. This is like remember a few years back there, and listen, I may sound totally ignorant when I say this, so you know, you can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but like there's something called like an atmospheric bounce or an atmospheric bump. You ever heard of this? Where
about having to push through that level?
Well, no, you basically can take a jet and fly from LA to New York in like 45 minutes, and like you kind of go up and like start to leave the atmosphere, I think, and then it catapults you back down, and it's like all like this natural like energy that expels you like at insane rates, and you could fly from LA to New York in 45 minutes. I heard about this tech a while ago.
What the Concorde used to do or something like that. Basically what happens is you go so high up that there's no wind resistance. So, you know, and the gravity's not there, so you don't have to worry about powering it, and it just shoots you, because it's kind of like the International Space Station, right? It's like going around the Earth like 26,000 miles per hour because there's no wind resistance. It's a vacuum in space, and gravity's just throwing it around. So when you have a vacuum, you don't have wind resistance, and you don't have to power it, and it just shoots across. So yeah, but the problem is re-entry every time, a crack, it catches on fire and blows up. But you know what I was thinking when I was watching this video? I'm from the South. And I was thinking to myself, you know, what would happen if the good old boys got this thing? Like, you know, the first thing they're going to try and shoot into space is like a can of Bud Light, right? And like, if that works,
just something.
If that works, we're going to be like, all right, what else we got around the yard? And then it's just going to be like, just shooting shit into space. Next thing you know, there's like a squirrel. Somebody sends a flaming, a thing of aerosol up in there, and just shooting shit up in it. I'm just trying to think of a bunch of drunk people, you know, in a backyard, like, y'all want to see some shit here? here? Come on over.
Here we go.
And like, wait, you got grandma's pie. Let's go.
Oh God.
And then you got that one you drink enough. Hey, Billy Bob, you got to get in this. Let's see how far you can go. All right, boys.
Bro, let's hope a good pie doesn't get taken down in the attempt to try to spin stuff to space. You don't want to waste a good pie. Maybe a cake, because pie obviously is superior. So you
pies are trash. Dude.
You might want to send a cake, because cake only has a high. Cake has only a so high a ceiling. Pie, man, is that you want to just take care of your pies, bro. Don't be
pies
spinning
are mostly trash. Pies are mostly
to
trash.
space.
I'm gonna say it. Cake is better than pie, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because pies are so easy to screw up, number one, and number two, there are very few pies out there that I thoroughly enjoy. And the ones I do enjoy, I have to have it with ice cream. You know what I mean? Like
I don't like this take that you have to have it with ice cream. That's not a good take.
Okay, let's talk pies for a second. Okay, all right, blueberry pie.
Well, no.
Bitter.
If you're gonna start with pies, you got to start. There's only one place to start.
I will start where the hell I want to start.
Ahead.
I'm the one who started. I will continue. You will not dictate to me. You are not Austria. Okay, you are not Austria. All right, and we'll get into why I'm bringing that later. But here's the thing. Blueberry pie, all about the crust, kind of dry, a little bit bitter. Blackberry pie, same thing. You got to add all the sugar and melt it in there, right? Okay, cherry pie, too tart for me, okay? Key lime pie, good for 2 bites. After that, it's just too much for the palate. Let's talk Boston cream pie.
That
can be good.
That's a cake.
Or what am I thinking of?
What's
the
you're
pie
right.
with all the chocolate?
You're right. Boston cream pie is good. People think it's a pie. I'm just saying Boston cream pie.
It has a crust. If it has a crust, it's a pie.
Does it have a crust?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Boston cream pie. Let me pull this up.
Not don't type in cream pie. Make sure that's all one word.
There's a Boston ahead of it. I've learned my lesson.
Trust me, I've seen cream pies in Boston myself.
I've learned. No, you haven't.
Apparently,
I've learned my lesson.
Boston people are even more racist in those videos.
I've learned my lesson. This is a Boston cream pie. I don't really think that's a crust. I think that's a cake. It's called a pie, but I think it's a cake. It's really good though. Boston cream pie is really good. I really love all these things.
Apple pie. I'm gonna be honest with you. If it wasn't for the fact that, it's American's apple pie wouldn't even be in the top half. Apple pie, depending on the apples you use. Are you using Red Delicious? Too soft. Are you using
Honeycrisp? Apples are the only apples that you can do anything with.
Honeycrisp is the only apple, but that's what I'm saying is that it's so, you have to be so specific with it. I'm trying to find a pie that I'm craving. It doesn't require ice cream.
Do they have any?
I just can't think of a pie. I've never craved pie.
What kind of pies do they have in Austria? There's going to be a lot of people in Austria that have a lot more time to make pies. Are there any kind of Austrian pies?
Okay, this is why I was getting to what I was saying, all right? Austria and that region of Europe don't have a great history of splitting people up based on certain aspects of those people. That's all I'm going to say about that.
All right.
And in this case, we might be seeing some stuff in the news about quote unquote, is history repeating itself? Why don't you lead us in, Alex?
Austria brings back COVID-19 lockdown, this time for the unvaccinated. So not for the populace, for only the populace that has not yet to be vaccinated. This article on Reuters, if you guys want to find it yourself as well, Austria is placing millions of people not fully vaccinated against the coronavirus in lockdown as of Monday to deal with a surge in infections, to record levels and the growing strain on intensive care units. The government said on Sunday, Europe is the epicenter of the COVID-19 pandemic again, prompting some governments to consider reimposing unpopular lockdowns. Austria has one of the continent's highest infection rates, with a 7-day incidence of 815 per 100,000. Austria is the first European country to reinstate the same restrictions on daily movements that applied during national lockdowns before vaccines were rolled out, though this time they only affect a minority of the population.
Well, I wouldn't call it minority. It's a very loose way of saying minority, especially since they have such a low vaccination rate. But I think the thing that makes this so interesting and so polarizing is that you're not locking everybody down, or you're not, saying, hey, it's already like in New York City where it's like, if you want to go to a restaurant or bar, you have to show your not your papers, Jesus Christ. You have to show your vaccine passport or your card showing that you're vaccinated, right? So that was already a thing. And there's a lot of contention about that. Some people don't like it, but it just means that, okay, you know what? If you don't want to get vaccinated, you're not welcome here. Fine. It's a private business. They have the right to refuse service, and you just have to order food at home, right? So that's like, okay, well, whatever. But in this case, the reason that there's so much contention, so much online craziness going on about this is that they're basically locking down a certain portion of the population, right? Like they're saying you have to stay in your house. Like if you're not vaccinated, you don't have freedom to walk, go to the park. You don't have freedom to do any of that. You are locked down. And the only way you're allowed out is if you get vaccinated, right? And so for people that are very pro-vax or very, very, pro whatever, I get the appeal of that. It makes a lot of sense. But the idea of actually forcing people to stay in their homes and locking a portion of the population down because they didn't do this vaccination thing, I can see where a lot of people are saying, hey, wait a second, this might be too far. What do you think?
I mean, first off, I don't live in Austria, so I don't really know.
Let's say they did that here. Let's say they did that here in the United States.
Oh, if they did that here, it really wouldn't it would not do well here. That would be
But if they did, what would your take be on it?
Bro,
are you vaccinated yet?
I am vaccinated.
Okay.
I'm of the belief that you should be able to choose if you want the vaccine or not. Like you should be able to choose. Now, there's a lot of people that believe, like you said, pro-vaxxers. There's a lot of people that believe vaccines are right for the world, right? So their opinion would be that the right thing to do for everybody is to get vaccinated. Then there's people on the other side that don't want to get vaccinated. They say, nah, it's not for me. I'm good. And, some of those people might say, oh, yeah, it's probably smart for maybe for some people if they're nervous about it and they want to get it just to be safe. Like they'll get the vaccine, whatever. But I won't. And like that's, what the other side is saying. All, the common thread there is choice that everybody has.
Not pussyfooting around. The question was, what do you think if the U.S. government said, hey, if you're not vaccinated, you're locked in your house? And if you come out, we're fining you $1,600.
I don't think they can do that.
That's what they're doing in Austria.
They are doing it in Austria. But that's why I was saying I don't think if it wouldn't work.
It's a theoretical thing. That's why I said imagine. Use your imagination.
If my imagination would lead me to see the revolt that would happen here in this country, and it just would not happen, just because it strips you down from your choice. Like you no longer have choice of what to do with your own body in that situation, and that just wouldn't happen here. So it's why I don't know.
That's already happening. Well, the government has said to employers, if you have 100 employees or not, they have to be vaccinated or they have to be fired.
Yeah, it's just strange times right now. I mean, I really do believe everyone should have the choice to do what they want and determine what's right for yourself. I think the right thing is to get vaccinated. That's my opinion. I think the right thing for everybody at this time is to get vaccinated. It's kind of like this. I'm gonna kind of equate the pandemic and the short stick that this. That, if you were alive during the pandemic, and you can kind of view that as, hey, we got kind of a short stick here. There's a global crisis going down, and we're losing a lot of people. The mortality rate is higher than anything we've seen before from a virus, as far as people on this planet that are alive right now. That's a short stick that you drew. I equate that to kind of like the short stick that if you were alive during World War II, like that, you drew a short stick. Like that sucks. Like that was obviously a terrible time to be alive. There was a tremendous amount of death, unnecessary or not. I mean, you can have that conversation, wherever, but you drew a short stick. You were alive during a time that kind of sucked. World War II was terrible. The pandemic was terrible. There's a tremendous amount of deaths over the past year and a half, but hey, guess what? You're alive now. So, it kind of sucks that we all had to go through that, of course. Get vaccinated.
I think it also changes because we have so much with media. Like I think that social media. I think that the ability for information to be shared, whether it's good information or bad information, is there, and it polarizes it so much more. Like I feel like if this was 50 years ago and you had a vaccine for something, everybody would just get it, right? Because it's like the government told me to, the news told me to, everyone else is getting it. I don't have any information to the contrary, right? Yeah. I didn't know it was a emergency use, and I didn't know it didn't go through all these trials, whatever. It is what it is. But now you have things with social media and things like YouTube, right? Where there's videos, you can go on YouTube and see videos, and there's people, they're getting rid of it now, but they're talking about, well, this vaccine causes autism, or this vaccine causes this. And some of the information is true, some of it's bullshit, whatever like that. And it's tough to get through it. So it's such a blessing that we have this idea that we can get information. But the problem is how do you sift through it? And, speaking of YouTube, and things that we don't like on there, have you seen this thing where YouTube is getting rid of the dislike button. Like I'm gonna sound like an asshole here, but how far down the oh no, my feelings are hurt like soft ass snowflake shit are we getting at? Now they're gonna say it's to protect things, but you know what it's for? It's not for anybody's feelings. It's for the fucking corporations. That's what it's for. And
there goes the hat. He's putting the hat on. If you guys are listening right now, the hat is going back on the head.
Do you want to know why they're getting rid of the dislikes? It's not to help people's feelings. They don't give a shit about your feelings. They don't give a shit about people not liking it. Because here's the thing. Dislikes and people's discourse allow us to sift through shit that's good and what's bad, right? We don't want, like, for example, when you're looking for a movie, you look at the ratings, the IMDb rating. If you go to the IMDb rating or the Rotten Tomatoes is like a 1 out of 10, you don't turn that shit on, right? Ratings help us, right? But you know why they're doing this? Because all of these corporations that pay them, Google made something like $65 billion in ad revenue just from YouTube, right? So if that's the case, they don't want to lose that money. And you see stuff like the YouTube Rewind come out and get just bomb downvoted. Take a look. I know. Quit looking at your phone. I know I'm running late. Okay, but look at the new Home Alone trailer. Massive downvote, right? Every time these corporate sponsors come in and put something out there, they get downvoted into oblivion. So I think YouTube's doing this for a corporate reason and not because they actually care about anybody.
Y'all, as our for our outgoing story of the episode, YouTube is removing the dislike count on all videos across its platforms. This, according to an article on TechCrunch.com. Also, we just know that they're doing this. YouTube today announced its decision to make the dislike count on videos private across its platform. Whatever. It's a lot of words. I mean, we get it. You're taking the thumbs down button away, right? Look at all these words and like all the. I mean, I'm with you. I tend to believe that people are just getting softer, and they can't take, when someone doesn't like something. I get how sometimes that can be kind of toxic, but man, I feel like for an entire genre or category of videos on YouTube, the entire like educational side of YouTube, I'm not even saying like educational, like school stuff. I'm talking like, oh, you want to learn how to build a desk, or like from IKEA. Here's a 3-minute video that tells you how to build it. If you're looking at 2 or 3 different videos of what to watch, each 10 minutes, and one of them has a great ratio of thumbs up to thumbs down, and the other 2 have a ton of thumbs down, that's probably the community's way of saying, hey, these other 2 videos kind of suck. Don't waste your time. Watch the one that's good, right? I mean, who's
gonna love it? Clickbaiters and scam artists. They're gonna love it.
It's just there's a meritocracy to the internet a little. The dislike button was kind of functioning to be that sort of balancing scale. It was kind of assigning or rewarding people for putting out good content. It was kind of doing its thing. But guess what?
Well, listen, since there's no dislike button, that means there's only a like button. And if you're listening to this or watching this on YouTube right now, go down below and hit that little like button because that helps us get in the algorithm.
Guys, hit the like button. Also hit the subscribe button if you guys are hanging out right now. Also click the little bell, get notified every single time we post an episode here. If you guys are on YouTube, guys,
shorts.
What was it?
What happened to the shorts? Like we haven't done any shorts in a while.
Yeah, they'll come back.
You're not paying your guy enough yet?
Oh no, Ryan's excited. Ryan loves doing this.
It doesn't seem like it.
They'll come back. Guys, everyone, thank you all for hanging out today. Thank you for chilling with Stocky and I. It's a little over an hour. Stocky said I was looking at my phone. Yeah, because I was looking at the timer. We're over an hour. We like to stay right at an hour. But we had a lot of really awesome stuff to talk about today. Topical stuff that's going on. Obviously, some more serious stuff.
We didn't get to the TikTok girl or the Asian Muppet.
No, there's an Asian. The Sesame Street is including Asian American diversity. Guys, it's an article we can get to next time with a new Muppet. There's also a girl that was abducted that was saved because of some hand signals that she learned on TikTok, and the guy that saved her happened to see it and know the TikTok hand signals.
We gotta go. Sorry, my bad. But cool little tidbit. The name of the Sesame Street Muppet is G, and which means sesame in Chinese. Isn't that kind of cool?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna pull it up so people can see it for the outro.
Alex, are you good?
What do you mean?
Your hairline's pushed back since I've seen you last.
Oh my God! Listen, look at that. He's sick of y'all coming at him for his hairline. He's just got.
No, I'm being honest. Like I'm looking and like it looks like you're like, are you okay? Is marriage taking a toll on you, or is it just bad?
I'm getting older, man. I'm getting older. I'm 31 years old. Marriage is not taking a toll. Marriage is actually the best thing ever. I have less stress.
Guys, he's been married less than 6 months. Trust me.
Yeah, I have. I've been married less than 6 months.
When am I gonna meet Meg? I'm not Meg. Mel. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm sorry, Mel. If you listen to this,
Mel. We're gonna. Well, next time we're in Miami, dude. Like probably. I gotta go down there to see my brother at some point. So, next time we're down there.
All right, sounds good.
Guys, thank you all for listening. Stocky, anything you have to say to all of our homies and friends?
Not really. Thank you guys for hanging out, and make sure that you follow us. Like I said, subscribe here if you guys want to check out our content. We're much less entertaining on our own streams, but you can check out our streams. The links are down below. And as always, stay green, DGens. And remember, as long as you got 2 kidneys, you ain't broke. Guys, thank you all for being here. Thank you guys for hanging out again. This was episode 5 of the Stock Guy AL3X Show, a podcast that covers topics around the world, business, news, markets, money, sports. People are talking about it, and so are we. Stock Guy AL3X Show can be watched, listened to, and viewed on YouTube. It can also be downloaded and listened to wherever podcasts are downloaded. Guys, make sure you hit the follow button wherever you are. Clips on Twitter, if you guys are on Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, wherever, guys. All major socials, guys. Hit the like button, subscribe, follow. Come hang out with us in the mornings whenever we're live on Twitch. We just want to be friends with all you guys, so keep hanging out with all of us, or with Saki and I. Guys, we will see you for episode 6, which will be out in 2 weeks. At some point, this will be a weekly show. Until then, guys, one love. Any last things, Saki, or just a goodbye? I just want to see if you edit out the hair comment. No, I'm not going to edit anything out. Ryan, you're the best. Nice. Guys, Ryan's the best. All right, one love, guys. Bye. Bye. Felicia Day's a punk.